Well, you've heard T2 talk about fashion and beauty, things you wouldn't normally expect me to talk about. Today we're going to talk about rock climbing. And I wasn't originally going to just make this video about rock climbing because I wanted to make a video called Things I Want to Do But Fat. So it's things that I would like to do if I wasn't so goddamn fat. Like, I always wanted to be like good at skateboarding and like rollerblading, any of the skating kind of sports. Like when I was a kid, my grandpa owned this cabinet shop, and we had this big empty space. And me and a couple of my cousins, we set up like these sort of like, I guess it was just cardboard boxes, but it was supposed to be like hockey nets. And we had like some sticks, and they weren't even curved like hockey sticks, and we would just like pretend to play hockey. Not on skates, just running around with the sticks, trying to smack the ball into these cardboard boxes. It was the most fun I think I've ever had in my life. And I'm an adult. I'm like 40 years old. And I'm like, yeah, that was pretty much the best I've ever done as far as fun. So imagine if you actually played hockey and with skates and real sticks and a puck and actual nets and equipment. I don't know what that's like. I always wanted to know what it's like to play hockey. Or just skating in general. Like, because if you stand on a skateboard, it's fine if you're 100 pounds because it's not a big deal. If you're like pushing 300 pounds and you put all this pressure down on a skateboard, it just fucking flips like this. It just wants to shoot out it because of the pressure. It's really hard to skate if you're fat. That's what I'm saying. So another thing I've thought about recently because of the, I guess the hype from the Alex Honnold Free Solo movie. If you haven't seen him on a lot of talk shows talking about it, watch Free Solo. And it's about rock climbing, and that kind of got me interested in it. And like, what the heck's the deal with rock climbing? I didn't know anything about it. And I want to introduce you guys to the whole world of rock climbing that I don't even really know. I just am like barely tipping the surface of rock climbing, but it's like so interesting. So let me just start off with this picture there. So this is your basic route up a wall. This is El Capitan, I think. Yeah, this is the direct line. This isn't the Free Solo route that Alex Honnold took. But if you'll notice, a lot of these routes, you gotta go up and you gotta go back down sometimes. And you gotta go up and sideways. And you gotta like do these kind of split maneuvers with your legs sticking way out and you're like barely holding on to shit. And he talks about like his life living in like a trailer or whatever, like a camper. He wakes up and he eats like a handful of like some fruit and some oatmeal like I've been doing recently because of this new diet. And he'll take like a little bag of chalk and he'll climb a big ass fucking mountain like this with no ropes or anything. So this El Capitan, let me get another good view of it here. This is like a classic view. Imagine waking up in the morning and you're like, oh, I'm going to tackle this mountain again. Another one of my favorite mountains is this Half Dome. Look at that son of a bitch. I mean, you don't climb this part of it. You just climb like this little straight part right here. But like Alex Honnold did that one. There's another good view of the climbing part of it. So all of these mountains that you climb have multiple routes up the mountain. And they all have these crazy names and shit. So I was just looking up near me, just out of curiosity, like Red River Gorge when I used to live in Lexington. And look on the side of this, like, look at all these fucking routes. This is just at this one place near me. And they have names like Blackburn Rock, Beer Trailer Crag, Clear Cut Wall, Courthouse Rock, Chimney Top Rock, Emerald City. They all have these crazy, like, fantasy sort of names. And Jewel Pinnacle. Like, that's like something you would see in a game, sort of like. The Zoo, Tunnel Wall. See, it's like you wouldn't even know that all these places existed or these routes and names and shit unless you were in the world of rock climbing. And it's not just walls. There's things called bouldering, and there's ropes and without ropes, free solo or like regular climbing, and then there's bouldering, and I think there's something else. They all have different classifications. Like if I just click this first one, I think it'll show me T 5.9. Oh, that's a different one. So I don't understand all these letters and numbers. There's a S 5.9. I really need to like research this and see what this all means. But it's so goddamn interesting. So then I started looking more into it. And this was, I found really to be interesting with this guy named Magnus. There's this YouTube channel, Juji and Tom. It's like a weightlifting channel. and this is like different kind of grips that they were using, like lifting weights, like holding it by a grip like you would climb a wall with. So you're barely even holding on with like 2 fingers in some of these, or like pinching it and like weird stuff.
These are crimps, all this stuff.
Crimps, they call them.
We're gonna try them all out.
Yeah.
So that guy right here, Magnus, he's like a pro rock climber. He's not even like one of the best at all, but he's like totally outlifting these guys with just these weird little crimps, like you're holding onto the edge, lifting massive weights with your fingers and shit, right? So definitely check this video out if you guys want to get into this. Magnus Midtube.
Look at that.
I guess that's how you say it.
He did it, yeah.
Juji and Tom.
He's gonna do it twice.
This is body weight.
So these bodybuilder guys, they're so muscular and shit. They're jacked up like pro wrestlers. Like they couldn't rock climb either because it'd be too much weight. Like this guy, he can't rock climb. So it's not just being too fat for stuff. It's being too big for certain things. You have to be a skinny dude in order to like have fun. Like Tony Hawk would probably be a good rock climber because he's also a good skateboarder by my logic.
Okay. Everybody's taking this puppy down.
So that's pretty interesting. So the climbing shit, and the gripping and the climbing. Let me get you a video of just show you what gripping is just like. This guy's named Aundre. He's like a boulderer guy, and he does V16s. That's a high letter, so I'm assuming it's high difficulty. Maybe S and T is like medium because they're like in the middle of the alphabet. I don't know. Look at this shit. He's holding on by his 3 fingers. And he has to cross his other finger over his other fingers to get a grip on his own hand.
First 4 moves.
And then you gotta like, sometimes you gotta flip upside down because that's the most efficient way. Because it's easier to push down and like grip your foot on something that's up here than it is to like reach up and reach it.
And very slippery.
See, he gets a heel hook and then he can flip himself over upside down. I've seen it before is what I'm saying. This guy, I don't know if he's wearing like sandals too almost.
Then you get it.
He gets like really screaming in some of these. Even like if you guys follow Mathilification, the Path of Exile streamer, he does rock climbing like this. Like we're just on a boulder and you got mats under you, so if you fall, it's just like you're only a foot off the ground, but like you're still doing all the stuff. It's like a mental game mostly. So he has to reverse his hand and then figure out different ways to get up this dumb rock. Nobody should even be climbing this rock. Like, why would you even think that you should climb this rock? They call it boulder problems, yeah. Like, you're trying to figure out a way up a rock that should not be climbed.
Teach you that something can be turned from impossible into possible.
So he just wants to get to that point and then he's good. He just wants to see if it's possible to get up there. What else we got here? Here's one called Ladura, hardest rock climb in the world. I'm not sure who this guy is. Might be the same guy. Black Diamond. Oh yeah, this one he's using ropes. What a pussy. Well, like, you have to use ropes because you're learning the route. Like, you know you're not going to make it. You're just like trying to see how far you can push it. And once you get all of the route completely in your mind, or you know every inch of it, like Alex Honnold was talking about, Capitan, he has this notebook. He writes down every grip, like right hand over here, and you do one of these switchbacks. You want to do a side kick, and you'll grab this, and you'll do this. You'll see these rock climbers. They'll go up to a face, and most of the time they're not rock climbing at all. They're just looking at the wall, and they're doing this in their head. Over here, and then this, and then this, and then this, and then one of these, and I'm gonna do this right here, and I'm gonna do this right here. It's all like fucking chess in your brain and shit. It's like crazy. Like you'll see on these faces, these little white specks. That's where the chalk has been, so you can see where other people have placed their hands, so that lets you know where you need to go. Unless you can figure out a better way, so you can see like these little white dots on the wall. See that? So he's gonna put his hand right there because there's chalk there. Then he's got to put his foot right there, where his hand was earlier. He can't grab this carabiner right here because that'd be cheating. He's got to figure out a way up the wall. This is so interesting, dude. So I recommend all of you guys just go out and try to free climb. right now. Just go out and try it. Delirium. See, that's a pretty cool name. I think that's a boulder problem. Yeah. He's pretty much like... Remember that movie Cliffhanger with Sylvester Stallone? This is like... He was just kind of tilted like this. This is like... You're just completely upside down. Hanging like a bat. So I'm at work the other day, and I'm thinking about these rock climbing shits. And outside my office, there's like a little brick ledge with just a wall. Not even brick. There's a brick wall outside I was kind of thinking about too. But like, I'm just like, the little ledge here is like the width of a brick. So I like try to stand on that ledge, and I like try to just hold on to the wall, which is completely smooth. And there's nothing there, but like at the edge of the wall, I can kind of pinch it. The 90-degree angle, I can just kind of pinch it and like hold myself against this wall and just keep myself from falling. And you can kind of feel like that's just like straight vertical. It's pretty easy when you're straight vertical. If you're like leaning back, you gotta have crazy grip on your fingertips to like hold yourself on the stuff. Yeah, look at this shit right here where there's like a 90-degree angle, and you're just like, this guy's using ropes, but like he's looking for spots he can put his hands, because there's nothing really. It's just a 90-degree flat surface. Like when I was at work thinking about this, like if I hold the wall like this, and then I put my other hand like this, and I pull this way, and I pull this way, I'm pulling against different directions. So I'm kind of creating a force just by pulling against myself, even though I'm not really pulling against the wall in any way that works. But like adding two opposing forces together kind of creates a force that holds you to the wall, sort of. And then there's like this brick wall outside. I was kind of figuring out, like, it's kind of old, so it's weathered. So the in between the mortar, you can kind of pinch it a little bit and maybe grip a little bit of the brick. And I'm just thinking about, like, could I climb just a straight brick wall if I was smart enough or like strong enough? Could I just pinch a brick and like pull myself up by pinching bricks? I mean, that's pretty extreme. These guys probably could do some shit like that though. So I recommend you guys check out some rock climbing videos. Just look at boulder problems, or definitely watch this one here. Watch Free Solo with Alex Honnold. That'll pretty much get you into it. Who's this girl? Hazel Finley. I think she's pretty good too.
And then you move on.
Oh yeah, there's also like these chimneys, right?
And you've got this really thin climbing.
You got like a 90-degree like this, right? So you like got the crack. You can just jam your hand into the crack, and then your hand just kind of swells up and like pull yourself up by your hand being in a crack. That kind of seems like cheating, but if you can get up a wall, you get up a wall. Whenever you can do it.
The first half of the route, you get loads of gear.
Oh yeah, these fucking carabiner things, right? That is so sketchy. I would not want to fuck with this. You poke it into a hole and it expands where it can't get out again. I mean, how would you trust your life to like some pokey thing that's like a piece of metal that expands outward a little bit? It goes in and does like this and hangs on. And then once one of them pops, all that momentum, all the other ones down the chain, they're all going to come out, and then you're fucked. You're just splatted. So you have a lot of like people that don't make it. A lot of people dying on these rock climbing trips. Thought I'd include this video real quick. This is a guy using ropes. This is the camera, and this guy down here is free climbing with no ropes, and he passes them. It reminded me of one of Alex Honnold's stories about, like, he has one story where he didn't bring his chalk bag, and he meets a guy up halfway up the mountain. He's like, "Hey, can I borrow some chalk?" And this guy's like, "This guy's not even using ropes, and he's up here. He forgot his chalk. Like, what the fuck?" And then he has this other story, like, when you get to the top of the mountains, like, there's people up there that are just like, they're hikers. They didn't even climb the mountain. They just hiked up to the top of the mountain to get a picture and shit. So when they see somebody climb over the top and they got all this climbing gear on and shit, like ropes, they're like, "Holy shit, you just climb up here?" And they freak out and they make a big deal about it. But like, he was free soloing, so he didn't have any gear on. So he gets to the top and there's all these people up there taking pictures, and like, he just kind of blends in with everybody else. Like, nobody even noticed that he climbed up, and he's like, nobody gave a shit, because they didn't realize he just climbed the fucking thing without any gear or anything. Look at this guy. And they set up little, like, you get halfway up El Capitan, you'll see a guy sleeping in a little like you'll hook these carabiners into the rocks and you'll make a little what's that thing called that you sleep in? A hammock. And there'll be like a hammock that's suspended by 2 carabiners or something, or they'll be like in a corner, or they'll set a little platform out somehow. In the Free Solo movie, the guy that was up there sleeping was wearing like a Santa Claus outfit or some kind of a Bugs Bunny or something, kind of weird. It was just totally bizarre. He's climbing a mountain and there's a dude up there sleeping in a costume. I'm like, what the fuck? Yosemite's big. Oh, let's look at this. Top 10 classic rock climbing routes. We got Upper Exum Ridge in the Grand Tetons. High Exposure in New York. Southeast Buttress in Yosemite. Snake Dyke, Yosemite. Epinephrine, Nevada Red Rocks. Flyboys, Okanagan, Washington. Regular northwest face of something, Yosemite. The Nose. Oh yeah, the Nose. That was another one. Climbing the Nose. Jorg Verhovens, center the most famous route in the world. This is notebook? Oh, this is like some video. So look at this. They got to get over the Great Roof, and then you do changing corners, and then you're pretty much home free. So they got all these names of different spots on the route. Like, not even just the route, but they got names for everything because it's easier to remember it in your brain. Like, once I get to the roof, I've got to do this up hand, switch my hands around and do an upside down flip kick thing. And then I get to the changing corners, and then I can just pretty much put my hands in the crack the rest of the way. You guys have no idea how much I want to rock climb, but I can't rock climb because I'm fat. So that's pretty much it. That's my ideas. It's not really my ideas, it's just my opinions. Rock climbing.